Hi, I'm Jane Wells with CEOs You Should Know, and you are?
I'm Eric Shanks, the CEO of Fox Sports.
How big a company? How many employees? What are annual revenues?
It's probably about 2,500 full-time employees, but there's about 25,000 people all around the country that make their living from Fox Sports, whether that be technical cameramen, audio people, tape operators, everybody that we use.
Doing well?
Sports and news is the most important content in the live genre, and I think sports probably is the most valuable of live because it captures the nation's attention. It's irreplaceable content, so no matter how bad the AL Central in Major League Baseball does, they're not going to cancel it, right? There were 166 canceled shows last year that were scripted or reality. But you know what? They're just going to make 435 new ones this year. So it is. It's a great place to be.
How'd you end up in sports?
I was very fortunate in that in my small town, there was a newspaper in town, there was a radio station in town. So even at a really young age, there was actually opportunities there, right? Because it is such a small town. And if you take the initiative, I had a great mentor in town, which was the editor of the local newspaper. And I wrote every day, every week, even when I was in high school. I was the photographer, one of the photographers at the newspaper. I was a DJ at the radio station when I was in high school. And when I went to college, I went to Indiana University and worked in the sports information department. And that's where you start to
Was
interact.
that like the Bobby Knight era?
Yeah, so Coach Knight was there.
Wow.
I was, again, fortunate enough that CBS at one point asked me to go to the Olympics and work for them in Lillehammer, Norway. So I went to school. I left school for about a month and lived in Norway doing the Olympics. And when I came back to school, the professor said, where the hell have you been? You can't take the finals. You've been gone too long. So I called CBS and I said, hey, a guy named Craig Silver, I'm pretty screwed here. Like, I went to work for you. I can't go back to school, and I don't have a job. So right then, CBS offered me a job to move to New York at 21 years old and be a researcher for $75 a day. And then I never went back. I've had the philosophy of just never say no to a new opportunity. Whether you think it's sideways, I think people do get too trapped in their mind of thinking, is this a lateral move? What's the next step after this? I've just always said yes to the next thing.
You just extended early your MLB contract for $5 billion more for 7 extra years. Do I have that right? A 7-year extension?
Yeah.
Why?
A rights portfolio is a lot like a stock portfolio, right? You have your blue chip stocks, right? And blue chip stocks are baseball, football, basketball, and then you have a mix of other types of stocks depending on what your brand is and what type of investment strategy you want to have. So when you look at our blue chip stocks in the rights portfolio at Fox, you would sit and say, I would renew every one of them.
Did you have more freedom to make this deal in the new Fox than maybe as part of the larger old Fox?
Well, the Disney transaction was announced like last December, I think, really. So it's in that time frame when you kind of knew what new Fox was, Rupert, Lachlan, James, they really did set out a path, like you say, of being the leader in live, right? Both sports and news. So being able to look at opportunities over the last 12 months to set up new Fox as the leader in live for a long time to come is what we did. And so if you look at the last 12 months in sports, new Fox has done the 3 biggest deals in sports in the last year. So whether it's been Thursday Night Football, WWE, and now the new Major League Baseball deal. So new Fox, even before it actually even exists when the transaction closes, has already done the 3 biggest deals in sports to set itself up for the future.
Are you cloning Joe Buck?
I've cloned it. You don't know this, but he's been cloned like 3 times already.
This is Joe 3.0.
Yeah, you don't know that the guy you see on Thursday is not the guy you see on Sunday.
I
There's
wonder
not
how
the
he
guy.
can be. He does seem to be more in the one place at the same time, especially during the World
now
Series.
He has twins as well, twin boys at home. So he has 2 jobs, twin boys. There has to be definitely more than one Joe Buck out there.
Okay. All right. Good to know, because I was getting concerned.
Yeah.
Because after
one Joe Buck shaves and one Joe Buck doesn't.
Just the funniest story of this business comes to mind.
My first job was, there are people in every production truck they have very specific tasks. My task was to sit next to the graphics operator and tell them what the score was of a basketball game. And so you're watching this game, and when you're watching the camera feed, there's no graphics on it. And so whenever somebody scores a basket, you're supposed to tell the guy, okay, it's now 2-0, and that's how you see the score on the screen, right? In the old days, that's how it was. So my very first day on the job, I'm watching a college basketball game, and they score a basket, and I just kind of froze. I didn't know what to do. And the producer yells at me and says, "Where the blank is the score?" And I said, "I'm waiting for them to put it on television so I can tell you." And I was the one who was supposed to put it on television. I'm surprised I made it today, too, because I had no idea what I was doing.
And here you are, the CEO.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Tell me the biggest mistake as an executive you've ever made.
An organization, I think, can accomplish anything it wants if leadership understands the right people to put in the right positions. And, over the years, what I regret is that either I put somebody in the wrong position, or I evaluated the situation wrongly, and that person, I may have made a decision to move their family across the country. And after a year, you go, gosh, this just isn't working out. This isn't the right thing for the company or this person. And, you're never going to get that 100% right. And so what I regret is, over the years, having made people errors, because it doesn't just impact the company, it impacts that person. Now maybe they have to go look for a job, or they have to move to a different position after a very short period of time. And then you kind of have to make a new decision and reboot the company again, or reboot that position again. And so when you do start to find that right group and that right mix with the right chemistry of people and leadership, you should feel really good about it. If you're running a company that you feel really, really good about your senior management team, I think you can accomplish a lot. And I think that's probably, it's not about, see, in live television, we make mistakes all the time. Like,
I know. I mean, yeah.
We'll make a mistake every 20 minutes, right? There's never been a perfect broadcast. So I think growing up in a television truck, you really start to learn with mistakes. What you do learn is you got to get by them quickly, and you got to recover. It's like throwing an interception in a playoff game. Like, you just got to shake it off and you got to go.
Best management advice, leadership advice you ever received?
As a young buck growing up in this business, I think you have this. Sometimes you can have a very short fuse. Like, whether you're in a meeting or a negotiation, you can probably be maybe a little bit overly aggressive. And one of the things that John Madden said to me, just very matter-of-factly, he told me one time, don't get out your hose until you know where the fire is. And so what that means is, you know what? There's nothing that you need to do right now to stake out your position, to place blame, to start an argument, to pick a fight with a partner, until you just really exactly know where the fire is. And I think about that all the time, because there are things, people will send me clips. Did you see what your announcer said here? And it's a partner or it's somebody, and they want to get me riled up. Well, you know what I have to do? I have to go read the entire transcript. I have to go look at the context of what they said. I need to look at the question that was asked. And then you figure out what to do, right? And so it's just one example of, don't get out your hose until you know where the fire is.
Eric, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jane.